Do you realize that because of the US ambitions, we are one step away from an arms race that cannot be controlled or regulated in any way?
The United States will not remain a party to a treaty that is deliberately violated by Russia.
If this depended only on us, we would not have reached this dangerous situation.
The United States is taking the necessary steps to address the threat posed by intermediate-range missile forces being deployed in ever larger numbers by Russia and China.
What about you? Are you going to evade responsibility for what is happening? Will future generations forgive you for this?
Russia's present actions are in line with a pattern of aggression that represents a clear threat to international peace and security.
The Russian Federation bears the sole responsibility for the recent demise of the INF Treaty.
Do you not understand that by your response to the Americans, you are returning to a historical situation when missiles were targeting European cities from different sides?
Well, it was a heated debate at the United Nations Security Council. Now, the United States has recently withdrawn from the INF Treaty, the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Agreement. And not only has the USA withdrawn from the treaty, but the USA recently tested a missile that would have been a violation of that treaty had it still been in effect. Many are viewing this as an escalation of a potential new arms race between Russia and the United States. Now, when the representative of the United States spoke to the Security Council, they accused Russia of being responsible for the agreement's demise. This is the U.S. representative.
You're here today because the Russian Federation preferred a world in which the United States continued to fulfill its INF Treaty obligations, while the Russian Federation did not. We've heard a narrative today that the United States had itself been in violation of the INF Treaty because of our recent flight test, which used the Mk-41 launcher that is also found in our Aegis Ashore missile defense system. This is categorically false.
Now, Russia emphasized that its concerns about the Mk-41 launcher have been proven to be indeed correct, and that this launcher could easily be tested and transformed into the Tomahawk missiles that were recently tested by the United States. And those missiles do indeed violate the treaty. Now, Russia, which had been accused of having violated the INF Treaty, had repeatedly requested that inspectors come to Russia and see if indeed these allegations from U.S. leaders were true. However, the United Nations and the United States ignored their requests to defend themselves against these allegations of violating the INF Treaty. Russia asked for dialogue around the issue, and this dialogue was ignored. Here's some of what we heard from the Russian representative.
In accusing Russia, the United States and the countries that support it are ignoring facts and common sense. We proposed a closed-door meeting to look at our missile of this class and give full information to convince them that it did not violate the treaty, but they refused. We cannot understand the arguments from the US, but we do want to save the treaty.
China was also subject to U.S. allegations at the Security Council. The United States accused China of boosting its military arsenal as well. China responded that it was not correct for the United States to withdraw from the treaty, and that blaming China for their decision was not honest or correct either. This is the Chinese representative addressing the Security Council.
The INF Treaty is of great importance to not only the US and Russia, but to global peace and security. It is unacceptable to use China as an excuse for leaving the treaty. China rejects the baseless accusations from the US.
Now, the INF Treaty was signed in 1987. It was a key moment in the de-escalation and ultimate end of the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union. And the recent decision of the United States to withdraw from that treaty has many concerned about the potential for a new nuclear arms race. Now, many hoped that the meeting could be the opening of dialogue toward restoring some kind of treaty regarding intermediate-range nuclear forces, missiles, and such. However, while a lot of accusations were exchanged, no real consensus seems to have existed among the countries represented at the UN Security Council.